Nearly 3,000 years ago, in the aftermath of the Trojan War, the ancient Greek world stood fractured, victorious yet exhausted, as warriors attempted to return home across an unpredictable and hostile sea. Among them was Odysseus, king of the small island kingdom of Ithaca, a strategist renowned not for strength alone, but for intelligence, endurance, and survival against impossible odds. Homer's Odyssey, composed orally around the 8th century BCE, preserves a cultural memory of Bronze Age seafaring life, warfare, belief systems, and leadership values of early Greek civilization. Odysseus departs Troy with 12 ships and hundreds of battle-hardened veterans, men scarred by a decade of siege warfare, longing for families they have not seen in 20 years. Their first landfall comes at Ismarus, city of the Chaconas, where discipline breaks down, and victory turns to disaster as delayed withdrawal allows enemy reinforcements to strike back. Many of Odysseus' men die here, not from enemy strength alone, but from human arrogance and failure to obey orders. Pushed south by storms, the fleet reaches the land of the Lotus Eaters, where some sailors consume a narcotic fruit that erases memory and the desire to return home. Odysseus forcibly drags his men back to the ships, binding them beneath the benches, understanding that survival requires harsh leadership. The journey grows darker when they reach the island of the Cyclops Polyphemus, a pastoral but brutal society beyond Greek law and hospitality. Trapped inside the Cyclops cave, Odysseus witnesses his men eaten alive, one by one, without mercy. Using deception instead of force, Odysseus blinds Polyphemus and escapes. But pride leads him to reveal his name, earning the eternal hatred of Poseidon, god of the sea. This moment seals Odysseus' fate, transforming his voyage from difficult to nearly impossible. Aid briefly arrives from Aeolus, keeper of the winds, who gives Odysseus a bag containing every storm wind, leaving only a fair breeze home. Within sight of Ithaca, Odysseus' exhausted crew opens the bag, believing it holds treasure, unleashing catastrophic storms. Blown far from home, the fleet lands among the Laestrygonians, giants who annihilate 11 of the 12 ships in a sudden ambush. Odysseus escapes with a single ship, carrying the last survivors of his once mighty force. On the island of Circe, men are transformed into animals, stripped of identity and dignity. Odysseus resists her magic and forces an uneasy truce, gaining knowledge rather than destruction. Circe orders Odysseus to descend into the underworld, a journey no living man undertakes lightly. There, among the dead, Odysseus speaks to fallen heroes of Troy, learning the true cost of war and the bitterness of hollow glory. The prophet Tiresias warns him that restraint, not heroism, will determine whether he ever sees home again. Returning to the living world, Odysseus passes the sirens, whose songs lure sailors to death, surviving through preparation and self-control. He then faces Scylla and Charybdis, choosing calculated loss over total annihilation. 6 men die screaming, sacrificed so the rest may live. On the island of Helios, Odysseus' starving crew slaughters sacred cattle, defying divine law. Zeus destroys the ship in a storm, killing every remaining sailor. Odysseus survives alone, clinging to wreckage, becoming not a commander, but a solitary refugee of war. He washes ashore on Ogygia, where the nymph Calypso holds him for 7 years, offering immortality in exchange for abandoning his past. Odysseus refuses, choosing mortal suffering over eternal escape. Released by divine command, he sails again and reaches Scheria, land of the Phaeacians. For the first time, Odysseus tells his full story, not as a warrior, but as a survivor. The Phaeacians return him home while he sleeps, ending a journey that lasted 10 years. Ithaca is no longer the kingdom he left behind. Suitors have overrun his home, consuming his wealth and threatening his wife Penelope. Disguised as a beggar, Odysseus observes silently, learning patience one final time. Penelope tests the suitors with an impossible challenge: string Odysseus' bow. Only Odysseus succeeds. The disguise falls, and the slaughter begins, swift, controlled, and absolute. Odysseus reclaims his household not through rage, but calculated justice. Peace is restored only when the cycle of vengeance is finally broken. The Odyssey endures because it reflects the human cost of war, the dangers of pride, and the long road from violence back to home. It is not a story of monsters alone, but of leadership, restraint, loyalty, and survival in an unstable world. For ancient audiences, Odysseus was not merely a hero, but a warning. And for modern audiences, his journey remains one of the most enduring reflections on what it truly means to return from war.